This just in, Will Ferrell has done it again, reaching the silver screen, but this time it's a sequel we've been screaming for. And no, 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 it is not Elf 2. Unfortunately, Ferrell doesn't want to do that sequel, but yes, it is Anchorman 2 at that. Yes, so if you didn't understand that, with my beautiful rendition of a news reporter, we're going over Anchorman 2, as you clearly see, with salon quality hair, Mr. Will Ferrell and company in Anchorman 2. Yes, huzzah, and welcome back to another Gare Bear review, and yet again, we see ourselves once again in the midst of another Will Ferrell film. Nay, a sequel of that nature, if you will. Yes, in case you've been living under a rock for the past year or so, Farrell and Company have assembled once again for Anchorman 2, and they brought nothing but the thunder, awesomeness, and of course, salon quality hair. Like I said, and perhaps will continue to say throughout this review, they went all out for this film. I mean, quality comedy writing, comedic timing, some of the best comedic actors, and dare I say it, cameos up the ass. Yes, I cannot and will not announce them because they're just too damn amazing to be said out loud. But I will tell you this. The Anchorman fight from the first one is nothing compared to the surplus amount of awesomeness acquired in its predecessor. Yes, I guarantee you, I will say this, everyone is back with a few added people, obviously. You have Farrell, Rudd, Keckner, that's how you say it, right? And, the man who steals the show, Mr. Steve Carell. Seriously, this man knows how to make one great comedy. And then you add the talents such as Megan Good, James Marsden, Christian Wiig, Christina Applegate, Greg Kinnear, Harrison Ford. I mean, the list can go on in this film, and that's just the main characters. I'm not gonna even go near the Anchorman fight part 2 because you get cameo after cameo after cameo, and I mean, come on, clearly. There was no stopping the casting director in this one, especially with those like I said, especially with those cameos later on in in the Anchorman fight part 2. Now, I have to say, this isn't like the first one. I felt like this one was rushed. I guess I should say. I mean, I don't want to say it, but it feels like that. The thing is, there wasn't really a story to cling to, whereas the first one there was a story. You knew he had, there was a story to follow. He was an anchorman at the top, and then brought down by change because a woman was coming into the workplace, and then at the end he triumphs at the top once again. In the end, the sequel did continue the story from that point, maybe a couple years, I believe a few years after. But the thing is, it didn't really make any sense. I guess I don't want to say that, but in my mind, I was solely focused on the comedy and only some of the story. But for some oddly weird reason, the story here was just eh. It didn't really do it for me, which is, I know, is sad news for considering it's an Adam McKay and Will Ferrell production. Oh, sorry if you don't know who Adam McKay is. You're definitely missing out if you don't know. He's personally one of my favorite comedy writers. I love them on SNL. He also has done Step Brothers, the first Anchorman, and him and Ferrell actually started the website funnyordie.com. I mean, not to mention he wrote, directed, and started in the other guys. He was Dirty Mike, from Dirty Mike and the Boys. Clearly, there's a comedic genius behind all of this, and I mean, don't get me wrong, the comedy was spectacular in this film. I mean, I love the timing in this film. It was all because of McKay and Farrell, and the rest of the crew that he's with. But the thing is that they needed to add more story to it to actually make it more likable. Personally, I didn't seem it didn't reach that point like the first one did. Because the first one's a classic, and I'm probably sure this one will be a classic as well. I mean, it's definitely quotable. Now, like I said, don't get me wrong. This clearly did not, frame me away from the greatness that this is. This film was hilarious. Like I keep saying, the film was hilarious from beginning to top. Every character had great lines. I love the comedic timing, and there was definitely clear chemistry for all these actors. The chemistry they had was like fantastic with them. But no matter what they do, I will always, have respect for these guys because they're probably one of my favorite uh, comedy actors. And with the adding of Jim Carrey, I would say. despite all their weirdness. But I mean, it's but besides the more character development and maybe more of story development, I would say. Otherwise that otherwise than that, it's pretty much flawless, I would say. Than like its predecessor. But like the first one, both are very quotable. Seriously, I could probably quote this one for days. I've seen it at least 3 times already. It's funny. It's a great ensemble of actors and actresses. Um, I probably all year, pretty much. I think it's the best ensemble I've seen all year. Probably next to Frozen and American Hustle, maybe another film around the future. Um, which is funny because actually our next adventure will be American Hustle. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys should like, subscribe right here somewhere. I will put the button somewhere here for more awesomeness. So make sure you guys stay tuned.